wanna dance like David, I want a faith like Paul. I wanna sing like Silas, tearing down the prison walls. I wanna face that fire, it won't burn me though. God's got my back, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego. I wanna walk like Moses, right through the waves. One day I'll see that promised land, no longer slaves. Though the fear is talking, no one can take out my faith. I'm gonna praise, I'm gonna praise. I praise the mountain, moving body, raising breaker of chains. Gonna praise, I'm gonna praise. I praise the heaven seated, undefeated, highest of names. That's who I praise. Hey, that's who I praise. That's who I praise. I wanna gift like Mary, I wanna break my vase. I wanna sleep like Daniel, even in a lion's cave. I'm gonna get that promise, just like Jericho. Yeah, I know what I'm making for. I'm gonna praise, I'm gonna praise. I praise the mountain, moving body, raising breaker.
Good morning, church. How are we today? Good? All right, I'm going to have you stand up, and I'm going to ask one more thing of you. I need you to do better than first service did, okay? I want everybody to understand that the role of the worship leader is to lead. It's not a concert. I'm not singing at you. I can't worship for you, right? I want to hear you worship. Come on. I want to hear you worship. We have a new song, and it's pretty fun, but I can't keep the energy up on my own. I need your help. So let's go ahead and start. There is revival right here and now. There is a fresh wind, and I can hear the sound. Something truly wonderful is happening. There is a difference inside of me, more than a feeling. This is a prophecy. Something really powerful is happening. Darkness bow down to the day. Mountains get up on my way. Breaking out of yesterday. I got a new thing coming. So tell this giant in my face, you're not greater than my faith. Best believe me when I say, I got a new thing coming. I got a new thing coming. There's an anointing to destroy the yoke, till every stronghold. You gotta let me go. Something really powerful is happening. There is a freedom that I have never known. Out of the shadows into the overflow. Something really powerful is happening. Darkness bow down to the day. Mountains get up on my way. Breaking out of yesterday. I got a new thing coming. Tell this giant in my face, you're not greater than my faith. Best believe me when I say, I got a new thing coming. 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 I can see a cloud heavy with rain, and it looks like revival is headed our way. I can see a cloud heavy with rain, and it looks like headed our way. I can hear the sound, the abundance of rain, and it sounds like freedom is headed our way. Ooh, I can hear the sound, the abundance of rain, and it looks like provision is headed our way. Ooh, I can see a cloud heavy with rain, and it looks like healing is headed our way. I can see a cloud heavy with rain, and it looks like Jesus. He's headed our way. 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 Darkness bow down to the day. Mountains get up on my way. Breaking out of yesterday. I got a new thing coming. Tell this giant in my face, you're not greater than my faith. Best believe me when I say, I got a new thing coming. 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 I got that new mind, new heart, fresh faith. I got that new wine, now word. I got a new thing coming. I got that new wine, new heart, fresh faith. I got that new wine, now word. I got a new thing coming. I got that new mind, new heart, fresh faith. I got that new wine, now word. I got a new thing coming. I got that new wine, new heart, fresh faith. I got that new wine, now word. I got a new thing coming. 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 I can see a cloud heavy with rain, and it looks like revival is headed our way. I can see a cloud heavy with rain, and it looks like salvation is headed our way. I can hear a sound, the abundance of rain, and it sounds like freedom is headed our way. I can hear a sound, the abundance of rain, and it sounds like provision is headed our way. It's 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 headed our way. Sing it with me, church. I can hear a sound heavy with rain, and it looks like freedom is headed our way. I can see a cloud heavy with rain, and it looks like Jesus is headed our way.
Good morning. You may have a seat. Let's give it up for the worship team one more time, please. I really love this song because it lets me know that as long as I have Jesus beside me, as long as I make Jesus Christ the center of my life, there's going to be good things coming towards me all the time. So once again, welcome everyone. My name is Cardiel, and it's really an honor to be here. It's a blessing to be a part of this family, and I'm just pumped to be here and see your guys' faces. If you're new here, thank you for being here. Thank you for taking that first step, which I always believe is the hardest, but we really want to get to know you. And the best way to do it is if you can fill out one of these Connect cards in the seat in front of you. You could fill it out with your information, and after service, you could take it to the big red banner out there in our lobby, and somebody from our team will be there to answer any questions you might have and just make you feel right at home. And for your OGs, as I like to call you, because I consider myself an OG, come on, I've been here for a little over 2 years now. You could also do the same thing. You could fill out the Connect card with your information. If you have any questions about baptism, you need prayer, or just want to be a part of any of our teams, I'm sure somebody from our staff will get back with you and answer any questions you may have. Right now, I want to focus on one of our core values here at Revolution, which is audacious generosity. And generosity isn't something we just talk about. It's something we like to live out. It's about saying, thank you, God, I trust you, and I know for a fact that you can do way many more things through us that we could ever do on our own. So today I want to focus on something simple, and that is our weekly need. Every week, we need to hit a certain number, which will pop out on the screen, to cover things like expenses, bills, staff, events, outreach, pretty much everything. And you guys have been doing a great job, so I want to congratulate each and every one of you because you guys are doing amazing. We have seen a great momentum, and I know we can keep it going. So thank you all for your generosity, because with your generosity, we're doing so many things around the community. And once again, it helps just keep the lights on in this building. So there are 3 ways of giving. You can go online, you can text the number on the screen, or you could just simply deposit your gift in one of our giving stations out by the doors. So there you go, there's 3 ways of giving. And there's always many things going on at Revolution every month, especially in our building. But today I want to focus on 3. The first one is spring cleaning. That is next week from 9 to 11 a.m. You can bring the whole family for that too. That way we can just like sweep up all the dust bunnies and make this place look tidy, you know. This is our home. We're all part of the same body, the body of Christ. We're just a big family, and let's try to keep it clean, keep it organized. So I hope to see you all next week from 9 to 11 a.m. Another thing I want to talk about is our Easter egg hunt. That's going to be a lot of fun because there's going to be a bouncy house that my kids they're psyched about that. They're ready. There's going to be games. There's going to be prizes. There's going to be snacks. There's going to be a whole bunch of things. So you can bring your whole family, bring your neighbors, bring the cat, bring the dog, bring everyone. And you might be thinking, we don't even have any grass. Where's the trees around here? Is the Easter Bunny going to lay its eggs in our vehicles, out in the parking lot? Well, we got that covered. We have a nice grassy area with trees and everything else we need to have a nice Easter egg hunt across the street from our building. It's called Landmark Daycare. So we hope to see you there. That is April 12th from 1 to 3 p.m. And last but not least, we have our Easter service on Easter morning. We're going to have 3 special services, all at different times, of course. One, I believe, is at 8 in the morning. The next one is at 9:30, and the last one is at 11 a.m. So if you're thinking about getting baptized that day, we would love to celebrate with you. So you could just fill once again one of these Connect cards, or just go online. It's revolutioncc.org/baptism. And then once again, somebody from our staff will contact with you and answer any questions you might have. So for now, just please rise up again and help me continue to worship. Thank you all.
Let the King of my heart be the mountain where I run, the fountain I drink from. Oh, he is my song. Let the King of my heart be the shadow where I hide, the ransom for my life. Oh, he is my song. 'Cause you are good, you're good. Oh, you are good, you're good. Oh, 'cause you are good, you're good. Oh, you are good, you're good. Oh, and let the King of my heart be the wind inside my sails, the anchor in the waves. Oh, he is my song. And let the King of my heart be the fire inside my veins, the echo of my days. Oh, he is my song. And let the King of my heart be the wind inside my sails, the anchor in the waves. Oh, he is my song. And let the King of my heart be the fire inside my veins, the echo of my days. Oh, he is my song. 'Cause you are good, you're good. Oh, 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 you're never gonna let me down. You're never gonna let me down. You're never gonna let me down. You're never gonna let me sing out. Down. You're never gonna let me 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 down. 'Cause you are good, you're good. Oh, you are good, you're good. Oh, 'cause you are good, you're good. Oh, you are good, you're good. Oh, you're never gonna let me down. 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 You're never gonna let me down.
When I was lost and all alone, Your presence was where I found home. You were there and you're here right now. In every high and every low, you never left me without hope. You were good and you're good right now. I've witnessed your faithfulness. I've seen you breathe life within. So I'll pour out my praise again. You're worthy, God, you're worthy of all of it. Your promises never fail. I've got stories I live to tell. So I'll pour out my praise again. You're worthy, God, you're worthy of all of it. You left the throne and chose the cross, laid down your life to rescue us. The Savior then, the Savior now. But even death was not the end. You conquered hell so I could live, resurrecting then, resurrecting now. Resurrecting then, resurrecting now. I've witnessed your faithfulness. I've seen you breathe life within. So I'll pour out my praise again. You're worthy, God, you're worthy of all of it. Your promises never fail. I've got stories I live to tell. So I'll pour out my praise again. You're worthy, God, you're worthy of all of it. You're good and I've witnessed it. You're strong and I've witnessed it. You're constant, I've witnessed it. And I'm confident I'll see it again and again. You love and I've witnessed it. You heal and I've witnessed it. You save and I've witnessed it. And I'm confident I'll see it again and again. You're good and I've witnessed it. You're strong and I've witnessed it. You're constant, I've witnessed it. And I'm confident I'll see it again and again. You love and I've witnessed it. You heal and I've witnessed it. You save and I've witnessed it. And I'm confident I'll see it again and again. I've witnessed your faithfulness. I've seen you breathe life within. So I'll pour out my praise again. You're worthy, God, you're worthy of all of it. Your promises never fail. I've got stories I live to tell. So I'll pour out my praise again. You're worthy, God, you're worthy of all of it. Till the broken, I witness it. Till the hurting, I witness it. friends, you can go ahead and have a seat.
What's up? Good morning. Man, was that not awesome or what? That was amazing. I was going to clap for that. It's one of those days I just want to skip preaching and just keep worshiping, but we're not going to do that. Sorry, guys, right? I know you want to. But hey, my name is Nathan, and if it's your first time here, welcome to Revolution. I'm the lead pastor here. Awesome to have you. We've been on a journey together for 8 long weeks, and we're putting a big bow on it today. We've called it the Upside Down Kingdom, and we've been looking at one specific spot in Scripture, the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew 5, 6, and 7. If you're new here, that may not mean anything to you, but we're looking at Jesus' greatest sermon and his longest sermon ever given. And our prayer has been, God, come into our lives and help us look like we live for a different kingdom. And today, we're going to put a big, fat bow on it, and we're going to look at the final words that Jesus says, because he stops preaching. He doesn't even pray and walk off. He just kind of walks off. But we're going to look at that in a second. But I want to promote what's coming up next week. We're going to do a brand new series. It's going to end on Easter. It's called A Seat at the Table. I have not been as pumped as I am for a 3-week series as a long time. And so if you have someone who's been asking about church, maybe hasn't been to church, doesn't like going to church, invite them next week as we're going to look at what does it mean that Jesus invites us to the table. It's called A Seat at the Table. You won't want to miss it. But today I got a question for you. It's a question we don't usually ask because we get so busy living life, we get so distracted. But it's something we all have an answer to. So here it is. What are you building your life on? What are you building your life on? Every single one of us listening, we build our lives on something. And so we have a bunch of different answers, and we'll look at those answers in a second. But we're all building our life on something. What we're doing is we're saying, here's what I'm building my life on. This is what I need to have to be happy, to feel like I've made it, to have success, to be fulfilled in life. And so we got our chips, and we're pointing them all to the table. It says, this is what I'm building on. And what we do when we do that, because we all do it, is we're saying, this is my foundation. And all of you have a foundation. And so however you answer the other question, what you're building your life on, is like, that's your foundation. And if you ever looked at a house or thought about a house, the foundation is the most important thing. Because everything falls and rises with the foundation. The weight of the rest of the house and everything else in the house has to be able to be held by your foundation. And if there's a problem with the foundation, there's a problem with everything else. And so if we're building our life, and we're all building a foundation, what we want to make sure at the very least, no matter what we believe and what you believe, you want to build on a foundation that lasts. And we never think about this because we get so busy and we get caught up in doing life and we're running the events and we have kids and things get crazy. But what we do is we say, here's my hopes, here's my dreams, here's my desires, here's everything I want in life. And we're pushing it all in the middle table. We're building on this foundation. And what we're saying is like, I hope whatever I'm building on is going to hold the weight of life. And so the answer can be many things. A lot of people build on finances, on money. They're like, man, if I just can get some more money, then things are good, right? If I get this dollar amount, then I've made it. Some of us build it on our career. Like, my career is going to open the doors to everything else. Some people build it on relationships, like marriages or dating or parenting. Sometimes we build it on pleasure or what's popular. But whatever we're building on, we're saying, I hope this is going to hold the weight of my life. I hope this is going to hold the weight of my problems. I hope this will get me through life. I hope it's going to hold. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. I love marketing and advertising. You know, every marketing company or every advertising company or any company that's trying to sell you something lives and operates under one idea. Your foundation is up for grabs. Let me show you a couple examples. Here's Nike. Find your greatness. You want to be great, better wear Nikes. If you wear anything else, sorry, you're not great, right? Everybody knows the rule. Like, you got to wear Nikes to be great, okay? How about Gatorade? I got this out there. Want to be like Mike? Come on now. The way to be great, Gatorade. The way to be super great, Nikes plus Gatorade, right? Let's look at another company, Coke. Not what you're thinking. Coca-Cola here, okay? Keep it clean. Okay, Coke. Open a Coke. Open happiness. You want to be happy? You want to enjoy life? Get some Nikes, drink some Gatorade, and drink some Coke. And then I didn't add this on here, but the best one I could find for cars was Ford. You want to be somebody in life, you better drive a Ford. Who drives a Ford? Anybody in here? You guys made it. Congratulations, right? Awesome, right? And all these companies are like, hey, buy our product, use our product, wear our product, rock our product. Guess what? You're going to be great. Your life is going to be amazing. Everybody's going to look at you and be like, that person has it going on, right? And so all these companies act like your foundation's up for grabs. And some of us live like our foundation's up for grabs. And 2,000 years ago, a little over 2,000 years ago, a man named Jesus was literally speaking on the side of a mountain. It's probably hot, he's probably sweaty, he's getting towards the end of it, and he has a crowd of people listening. Some of those people are religious, some of them aren't religious, some of them are his followers, but they're all very similar, just like us. He knew that everybody was building their life on something. And so he gives this long sermon, and he ends it like this. He goes, therefore, connecting everything else, Matthew 5, 6, and 7, connecting all that. Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine is like and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rain came down and the streams rose and the winds blew and beat against that house. Yet it didn't fall because it had its what? Foundation. It's going to last on the rock, right? But everyone who hears these words of mine and does not put them into practice is like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. The rain came, and the streams rose, and the winds blew, and it beat against that house. And it fell with a crash, because it had a lousy foundation. And then when Jesus had finished saying these things, the crowds were amazed at his teaching, because no one had ever taught like Jesus. And then Jesus, here's what he does. He ends the sermon, he walks off the mountain, and the first thing he does in Matthew 8 is he heals people. He applies exactly what he's just been preaching. It's over, it's done. But he ends his sermon with these 4 verses. And here's what he says. Because everybody in this crowd, everybody's listening to these words 2,000 years ago. You're all building your life on something. And I want you to build your life on the right foundation. If you're going to build it on something, you might as well build it on something that's going to last. Because I want you to build your life on the right foundation. Now, if you're here today, and you're not a follower of Jesus yet, you're just kind of checking it out. One, welcome. It's awesome to have you. But I just wanted you to do this. I'm not asking you to believe what I believe yet, but just consider the words that Jesus says. And consider how if you apply them at the very minimum, here's my promise, your relationships will be better. Your relationship with finances will be better. You'll make fewer regrets, and you'll make better decisions, which equals a better life. But here's a little caveat. The way that Jesus writes these words and the way they're constructed in the Greek is that this isn't just, hey, it'd be really cool if you did this. Hey, it'd be awesome if you applied what I heard. He goes, no. There's an expectation of anybody here today who follows Jesus, and I assume most of us want to or do. If you're listening to these words, I have an expectation for you. I have an expectation that you build your life on the right foundation. I have an expectation you build your life on what I told you. I want you to build your relationships off of it. I want you to build your marriages off of it. I want you to build how you forgive people off of it. I want it to change how you worry, how you handle anxiety. I want you to build your life on the right foundation. There's an expectation for Jesus followers to live a certain way. Now, the rest of you don't follow Jesus, you're off the hook, and we're just considering it. But how many of you know that life doesn't always go to the way you expect it to go? That expectations don't always become reality. It's spring break, some of you are back, welcome back, right? Awesome to have you. But last week, some of you you wanted to go on a beach vacation, and you expected it to look like this. Doesn't that look beautiful? It's like, I could go there right now. But you got to Florida, and you realize, it's spring break, baby, and it looks like this, right? Everybody's there, right? That's a lot of fun, a lot of relaxing there going on, isn't there? Or in September, my wife convinced me, let's go to Disney. I'm like, all right, let's do it. Let me get my life savings out of a bank account. Let's go to Disney. Let's do it, right? We're going to do it before the other baby gets here because it's going to be a lot more expensive. So, Natalie, you get the VIP experience. And I expected it to be, magical. Like, I'm expecting Disney characters just shoot fireworks all the time, to be awesome. And you want it to be like this. I'm not going to lie. It was fun at some points, but a lot of times it looked like this. That's what it looked like, right? That's not Natalie. That's some crying baby off Google. But it looked like this. And sometimes we realize that when expectations don't meet reality, there's frustration, there's anger, there's sadness, there's disappointment. But a lot of times what we don't realize is there often is consequences. And so what Jesus is saying, this is where it gets so cool. He's like, there's a connectedness of life. That your decisions aren't just happening in a vacuum. That what you build your life on, and the decisions you make in your life, they're connected. And they're connected to what you build your life on. And what you build your life on is connected directly to the quality of life and the decisions that you make. So let's look at what he says. He goes, there's really two ways to live. Therefore, if anyone who hears these words of mine puts them into practice, it's like a wise man who builds a house on a rock. And so there's a wise way to live. And he says he's wise not because his house looks different than the other person's. Matter of fact, the houses look exactly the same, exact same town. It's not like one person was wise and they built in Logansport and the other was foolish and built in Peru, right? Nothing against Peru. I'm just using an example, okay? Right? So there's wise. They look exactly the same, but he's wise because he built on the rock. And to that, you like, okay, who cares? Because when we buy property, what do? We pay money to remove the rock and then we build a house. But in Jesus' time, they didn't have the tools we have. They didn't have the equipment we have. And so the rich of the rich, or the best of the best, would go and find a plot of land that was a little bit rocky, and they wouldn't remove the rock, but they would build on top of it. And they would build, and it would take time, and it would take effort, it would take a lot more manpower than another foundation, but it was worth it because when the wind blew and the waters rose, guess what that house would do? It would stand, so he was wise. But then we're told, those who hears these words and does not put them into practice is a foolish man. There's a foolish man. And he's not foolish because of where he built. He's not foolish of what his house looked like. He's foolish because he didn't take the time, the effort, or the energy to build on the rock. He built on the sand. And the winds blew and the water rose and his life came crashing down because he built on the wrong foundation. It's really simple. But Jesus going, listen, I love you. I've been preaching to you for all this time, and I'm inviting you to build your life on the right foundation. And that's what's so awesome about Jesus. Jesus literally came because I came to give you life. The enemy came to seek and destroy and kill. He's like, I've come to give you life. So I've come here so you can build your life on a foundation that's going to last. So we got to ask ourselves, as we're reading this, as you're navigating through Scripture, trying to apply this, you should ask questions. You should ask this question. What are you building your life on? But this time, there's only two answers. We're not going to give a whole list. We're going to give two answers. The first one is the rock. A life grounded in obedience to Jesus. I'm going to build on the rock. I'm going to build my life on his teachings. I'm going to put him in the throne, on the chair. I'm going to follow him. I'm not going to be perfect, but I'm going to follow him. I'm building my life on the message of Jesus. Jesus saves. Jesus gives me the eternity. He's the king. He's the Messiah. I'm building my life on that. Or option B, the sand. Everything else we cling to for purpose and meaning. We're like, well, Jesus, if the rock stands and the sand falls, I want to build on the rock. And most of us, I'm going to assume, like, yeah, we want to build on the rock. But Jesus gives us a warning a little bit before this. He goes, listen, for wide is the gate and broad is the road that leads to destruction. And many, everybody say many. Many enter through it. Even though they want to go the other way, they enter through the way that leads to destruction. And he goes, small is the gate and narrow the road that leads to life. And only a few find it. All are invited. All are welcomed. But only a few build their life on a way that's going to last for now and eternity. And we read that, well, Jesus, come on now. I want to build a life that lasts forever. I want to build a foundation that's going to hold me. I want to build in such a way that my life won't be destroyed, that I'm going to spend eternity with you. I want to build life that is good now and that's going to get me to eternity. And Jesus says, okay. It's the difference between being a wise man and a foolish man. A wise man hears my words, does something with it. A foolish man hears my words and is like, man, that was really motivating. That was really cool. That was really encouraging. That was awesome. And then does nothing with it. So I want to look at these two men. I want to start with the foolish man because it's always fun to look at people who get it wrong, isn't it? Like, makes you feel better about yourself. Like, if I can look at them, at least I'm not them, right? So let's look at the fool. He says, the fool builds their house on the sand. It's like someone who hears but does not apply. So they build their house on the sand. Well, what's the sand? And I kind of came up with a list. And these are just a couple things. These aren't all the things. But one, finances. Isn't it interesting? I want to talk about this for a second. Jesus has a lot of warnings or a lot of things to be aware of. Isn't it interesting that finances or money, your relationship with money is one of them? And it's not in the way that the world often says, where, like, well, Jesus just wants your money all the time. No. He warns us to guard our heart And he warns us of not building our life on finances because you can't serve two masters. And you either serve money or it serves you, right? And so Jesus is like, be careful building your life on finances. Because the thing about finances, if you build your life on it, you got a number in your head. And then what happens about money? Well, you get the number, and then you're like, well, it's not enough because eggs are $4 for 12, eggs cost $4 for 12 of them, right? Or milk costs $50, or gas is $700, right? Like everything keeps going up, and so it's never enough, and you get in this rat race, and you're building, but you're never really building. And he's like, what about your career? You're like, my career is my identity. And Jesus is like, no, listen, your identity was placed on you the moment you were born. Your career is just what you do. What about relationships? There are really good relationships. Marriage. Marriage is awesome. It's hard at times, but it's awesome. Parenting can be awesome. Dating can be awesome. Bad foundations at times. What about pleasure? I'm just going to do whatever makes me happy. I'm just going to do whatever makes me feel good. And it feels good in the moment until, guess what? You got to keep going on that cycle. I'm going to do whatever's popular. The world must know something because everybody's doing it, so I'm going to do it. But the world changes their mind faster than a 3-year-old wanting snacks, right? Like, it's crazy, right? And none of these things are inherently bad. But Jesus would say, none of them make a good foundation. Because that finances that you built, guess what happens at the end of your life? Can't take it with you, can you? That career, what happens when they fire you? What happens when they downsize? Those relationships, your marriage, it's awesome. But ultimately, sometimes your spouse can let you down. What about parenting? Parenting, great gift. What happens when they move away and you spent the last 18 and 20, 25, 26, 30 years building on them? What happens when you're dating? You're like, this is the one. And then they do something, right? Yeah, this isn't the one, right? Like, what happens then? Pleasure. It's good, but what happens when that pleasure leads you down the road you don't want to be on? How about following the ways of the world? They're wacky tobacco, baby. You're like, who's following the world, right? Like, it's crazy, right? And Jesus goes, nothing wrong with those. But those all make really bad foundations. So don't be a fool. And no one likes to be called a fool. No one likes that. But Jesus says, listen, you know what a fool is? A fool is someone who decides to live life as if life isn't connected. What do I mean by that? They decide, well, what I do with finances today doesn't affect tomorrow. That's a lie. Or what I do in my relationships today doesn't affect my relationships tomorrow. Another lie. Or what I build my life on doesn't really have any correlation to the quality of my life, right? And so we fool ourselves and think, well, my foundation doesn't really matter because in the right time, in the right moment, I'll build on the right things. Or I'll just keep changing foundations until I find one that works. And Jesus goes, but what happens when the storms come? And everything's wiped out. So Jesus says, don't be a fool. Or, okay, Jesus, you want me to be a fool? Well, how do you want me to live? What's the wise way of living? Let's look at the wise man. He goes, well, the wise man, the answer is so simple. You're going to not believe it, and you're going to think it's too simple. He's like, here's the answer. Do something with what I taught you. He's saying, I'm not just up here preaching and teaching so you can hear it in one ear and out the other, right? He's like, I'm preaching in such a way so you hear what I say, and you do something with what you heard me say. And so all of a sudden you see the difference isn't your last name, your bank account. The difference isn't your past, what you've done. It's not what you look like. It's not the mistakes you've made. It's not your education. It's not what part of town you live from. The difference between a wise man and a foolish man is what they did with what they heard. And Jesus says there's one path. And the world doesn't like this, and you may not like this, but there's one path that leads to life. All other paths may look the right way, may seem the right way, but there's one way to live life. And he goes, and I'm telling you how to live it. And why I love the Sermon on the Mount, because he goes, this is how the life of a disciple was designed to work. He goes, blessed are the peacemakers. Blessed are those who go out into the world and make peace where there's chaos, where there's destruction. He goes, blessed are the meek. Meek doesn't mean weakness. Meekness in the Greek is this idea of great strength under control. Blessed are those who have great strength but know how to use it in the right way. And he says, and he talks about anxiety. He's like, don't let anxiety and worry control you and dictate every move. He's like, look at the birds. Don't you trust God? He's like, have a new relationship with identity. And he talks about forgiveness. He goes, some of you have unforgiveness, and it's hard because awful things have happened to you, but that unforgiveness is poison in your life. He's like, don't let it control you. And he speaks all these things. He goes, this is how the life of the disciple was designed to work. This is your best possible life. And he goes, there's a kicker. It doesn't happen by just listening. It happens by doing. Well, let me give you a little example. I got this tool, whatever you want to call it, little carrier, right when I got married. I don't know who gave it to me. They decided that I needed a tool carrier, okay? And so I got it. I got more tools than this, so don't judge me, okay? I feel some of your eyes, Cecil. You're judging me right here, right? I just wanted to bring a few up here. And so I got this when I first got married, right? Like about 11 years ago, almost 12 years ago now. And so I got married, and I'm gonna be real honest, for the first, I don't know how many years of marriage, it never got used. Nothing in here ever got used. But I would tell you that in high school, you should have seen me, in high school, right? I took 3 years of wood shop. What's that mean? It means basically I'm Chip Gaines, okay? That's what it means, right? And so I would talk to Whitney about it all the time, like, babe, there's magic in these hands. I can build things with these, right? Like, and I have some stuff in my house that I built. I still show it off, right? And she's like, okay, she's getting married. She's marrying Chip Gaines. She's expecting all these things to happen. And so for the first, well, I guess 11 years, how many things do you think I've made her? 0, right? Hey, okay, don't judge. I've made 0. Now, I do fix things now, right? Change my toilet, change the dishwasher, fix my garage door. I can fix things now. But for a long time, well, I'm not that great. It's just called YouTube, okay? I learned to go on YouTube. It's a lot cheaper. And then if I break it, I could just blame it. I tried, right? But for a long time, I just had a tool, I just had a hammer. Hammer's a great tool. It can hammer nails and do a lot of other things, right? But it's just a paperweight if I never use it. I got this drill. You got to do the little, thing, right, with the drill. Got a drill, got a screwdriver. Awesome. You can change batteries, I don't know. Got a tape measure, got some other stuff, not really sure what it's called, but it's in here, okay? It's right here, right? And I got it. But all these are useless because they just sit in my garage and collect dust. Aren't they? Now they can look cool. I got a lot of crafts. I got a lot of Snap-on tools that my dad gave, I inherited from my dad, and I left most of them at my parents' house. But if I put them in my garage, you would think I'm the best mechanic of all time because they're awesome, right? But they're useless if I never use them. And I think sometimes God's like, hey, here's your toolbox. Here's what you need to know for your relationships. Here's what you need to know for your stage of life. Here's what you need to know. Here's the tools you have. And we're like, God, thanks for the tools. Awesome. And we just leave them in there, never touch them. I've heard thousands of sermons in my life. I've given thousands of sermons. I've been preaching for 10 years. And sometimes at church we had 3 services. Every time we had 2 services, multiply that by 45 average a year by 10. That's a lot of numbers, right? That's a lot of sermons. I've listened to a lot of sermons. With the Bible college, hear people preach all the time. Some really boring and some really good, right? I don't know what this one is today, but I think it's good, right? I've heard a bunch. But do you know, if I sat down and did the math, like this is how many times I applied, this is how many times I did what I told or what I read to do, the percentage is so shamingly low. A lot of times it goes in one ear, out the other. And I know what I should do when I have the tools, but then I do what's convenient. I do what's easy. I do what's fun. And I think sometimes that happens in faith, doesn't it? Like we have good intentions, we got the tools, and we know what we're supposed to do with them, but we don't use them. And one of the great temptations that I think that we have in America as Christians it's kind of detrimental, but it's also important. So I'm going to say a phrase, and some of you might not like it. I apologize that you don't like it, but I'm not apologizing for saying it. A lot of times we'll equate our spiritual depth to one phrase. Well, I went to church this week. And that's awesome. And I'm so glad. I hope you go to church the rest of your life, every week for the rest of your life. It is so important what we do here in Gather. But do you know this? How many of you know this? You go to church every single week and still miss it. Anybody know anybody like that? Come on, raise your hand. It's always fun. Like, yeah, I know somebody like that. Yeah, of course you do, right? Do you know you can read your devotions? You can even put pictures on Instagram and Snapchat. You can actually memorize the worship songs and still miss it. Now, all those things are important. Devotions are important. Not Snapchat, but Instagram. What am I talking about? Bible verses are important. Instagram is not, right? I'm getting my mind mixed up here. But the goal was never perfection, and the goal was never perfect attendance. You know what the goal has always been? Obedience. A lot of us, man, we don't need more information. We got podcasts. You can go listen to way better preachers than me online. You can read books. You got the Bible app. A lot of times what we need to do is do something with what we hear. So Jesus says, there's a game plan. Here it is. Hear Listen up. Do what we're doing right now is so important. But get after it. After Jesus' death, his half-brother James wrote this letter. He says, do not merely listen to the word and so deceive yourself. He's like, don't just gather information. What does he say? He goes, do what it says. And my best advice to you right now is, if you want to see your faith grow, even if you're brand new, even if you don't have it all figured out yet, start applying it and start living it out. Start serving, start praying, start loving, and watch what God does in your life. And watch how he moves. He's like, the wise person hears my words. And it takes time, and it takes effort, but they start building and building and building and building their life on me. And why does that matter? Because the storms are coming. He says this, it says, the rain came down, the streams rose, the winds blew and beat against the house. Both men, this is such a strong theological point, because a lot of people miss this and they walk away. Storms will come. Both the men built their house, same town, same area, different foundations. But both of them faced the rain. Both of them faced the streams. Both of them faced the wind that beat against the house. Both of them go through storms. You know, sometimes we believe that if we just follow Jesus, everything's going to be perfect and all okay. Jesus never promised that. You know what he said? He goes, you will have trouble. And all of you know what storms are. As you go to the doctor for a checkup and you get a diagnosis you are not expecting. It's the loss of a loved one that came out of nowhere. It's a financial situation. It's a health concern. It's a job loss. It's you're chasing pleasure and all of a sudden it leads you down a path you don't want to be on. It's addiction. It's mistakes. We all have storms. You either come through a storm, going out of a storm, or about to go into a storm. That's the reality of life, isn't it? And I wish the storms weren't going to happen, but I bet many of you are like me. You've gone through them. As I look back at my life, a lot of my early life is defined by, if I was to write a book, I'm not going to, but if I was to write a book about my life, the early years were defined by storms. Really young, biggest storm in life, dad passes away. And that's one of those storms that you think you can get through. It comes in waves, right? Because my dad dies, drinking, driving. He's here one day and gone the next. But that storm, you get through it and you struggle, but then you're like, well, my dad never saw me play a single varsity football game. Never saw me make a single basket in basketball in school. Never got to meet my wife, never gets to meet my kids. I haven't had a conversation with my dad over 25 years. He was gone. He was part of my life way less than he would be. He was there for a small fraction of my life. Never get to talk to him again. So that storm hits you. And then growing up, I also had a lousy stepfather who abused my siblings and abused my mom. That was a storm. And then, I go to college, meet my wife, we get married, and her dad, I was so excited to have a father-in-law, he dies, has a stroke. One day he's here, one day he's gone. And then, I'm preaching, and I'm not perfect, but I'm preaching, I'm baptizing, I'm preaching about Jesus. I'm trying to do the best things I can, and I got one prayer in my mind. Hey, God, just give me a child. In 8 years. No. Now it came through, but that's a long 8 years. And I think about these storms. You know what these storms do? Sometimes they rattle your faith and they rattle your foundation. And maybe if you're like me, you're like, is this worth it? Is this worth it? Because if God was so loving, why did that happen to me at such a young age? Why did I have to go through all that junk? If Jesus really changes my life, why doesn't it seem like it? You ever had those doubts? And you know what gets you through those moments, this is where I wish I would have learned a long time ago. You know what got me through those storms, or what gets me through those storms? I wish I could say it was just my faith in the moment, but it's not always the case. It's the faith that I have to borrow from the foundation that I've been building on Jesus' word and putting him in the king of my life. It was all the times I've built on the right foundation that carried me through that storm. And so when the storms came, sometimes my faith wasn't strong enough to get me through in the moment. But my foundation of Jesus is what carried me through. And the promise of life is you will have trouble. You will have trouble. And so we have to build on the right foundation. And as I was thinking about this, an imagery came to mind. It's this picture right here. Cardiel kind of talked about it earlier. A bounce house. I think a lot of us live life, you just stick with me, we live like we're living in a bounce house. You kind of have a flashback. You guys remember rolling up to parties or events and they brought out one of these bad boys? You're like, man, this is the coolest thing since sliced bread. Like, this is awesome. Like, if you went to your friend's birthday party and they had that, you're like, man, they're Bill Gates. Like, they're so rich. Like, this is awesome. All right, you go in there, it's a sunny day, you're jumping around and you're stone cold stunning people and doing Undertaker moves, WWF, right? And you're having so much fun. And it seems good. And sometimes life is so good. We're like, man, I'm building my life on money. I'm building it on my career. I'm building it on all these, my athletic abilities. I'm building all these things. It's awesome. Then all of a sudden, what happens? You're outside jumping, and then you see some dark clouds come by. It gets a little windy, it gets rainy. The tornado siren goes off. You know the last place you want to be in a storm? A bounce house. Like that. It's going to fly away, right? I think that actually happened in California. There's just kids were in it and flew away, right? All of a sudden, you're in the middle of a storm, and you realize, oh my goodness, I was not safe. All of a sudden, you're in the middle of a storm, and your foundation's revealed. And sometimes when you're building on the wrong thing, it's like building your life on a bounce house in the middle of a tornado. Because the storms are coming. And so maybe the question isn't, what are you building your life on? My question I would ask you today is this. Whatever you're building your life on, will your foundation hold? Is it strong enough to get you through the storms? Is it strong enough to get you through that health concern? Because when that comes, it doesn't matter what your career was. Doesn't matter what your bank account was. Can it get you through that tragedy in your family? Can it get you through that loss? Can it get you through that temptation, that struggle, that mistake you made? Will it hold you? And if it's anything but the rock, the answer is going to be ultimately no. But the good news of the gospel is this. Jesus doesn't leave us in our mess. He doesn't leave us to figure it out. He goes, I love you, so build your life on me, Jesus. And he says this, or he's inviting you to this, to build your house on his word, because when the storms come, and they will come, you'll stand firm. And then Jesus does the biggest boss move ever. He walks off the side of the mountain. So we're going to put a big bow on this series. My desire is for every one of you to build your life on the rock, to build your life on the words and the teachings of Jesus. But I think it happens by this phrase, be a gospel doer. So as we wrap up this series on the Upside Down Kingdom, here's my encouragement to you. Here's the type of church we're going to be as long as I'm leading. We're going to be a church that's full of gospel doers. That we're going to apply it in our marriages, in our finances, in our relationships, in our outreach, how we treat our enemy, how we reach people. We're going to say, Jesus, I'm building everything on you because you're the rock that holds everything together. And I believe you're the foundation that will last. So I'm going to have you stand up. I'm going to pray, and we're going to sing about building our lives on the firm foundation. Father God, we're so thankful for who you are. We're so thankful for what you do in our lives, that you give us the ability to build our lives on Jesus. Father, sometimes we want to build on everything else because it's fun, it's convenient. But Father, let us remember that you are the rock that stands. Father, so we are desiring today to build our life on you. Thank you for sending Jesus to die for us. Thank you for sending Jesus to preach for us. God, thank you for everything. It's your name we pray. Amen.
Christ is my firm foundation, the rock on which I stand when everything around me is shaking. I've never been more glad that I put my faith in Jesus. He's never let me down. faithful through generations. So why would he fail now? He won't. He won't. I've still got joy in chaos. I've got peace that makes no sense. So I won't be going under. I'm not held by my own strength, 'cause I built my life on Jesus. He's never let me down. He's faithful in every season. So why would he fail now? He won't. He won't. He won't fail. He won't fail. He won't. He won't. He won't fail. He won't fail. Christ is my firm foundation, the rock on which I stand. With everything around me shaken, I've never been more glad that I put my faith in Jesus. 'Cause he's never let me down. He's faithful through generations. So why would he fail now? He won't. He won't. He won't fail. He won't fail. Rain came, wind blew, my house was built on you. I'm safe with you, I'm gonna make it through. Rain came and wind blew, my house was built on you. I'm safe with you, I'm gonna make it through. Rain came, wind blew, my house was built on you. I'm safe with He won't fail. He won't fail. He won't. He won't. He won't fail. He won't fail. He won't. That's my prayer over you this week, church, friends, family, that you would build your life on Christ's foundation, because you may fall, but He will never fail. If you need prayer over this message, or really over anything, the prayer room will be open after service for you. If you want to take a next step, the double barn doors will be open for you to go out there and take a next step, which we would love. We're getting ready for Easter, so the next few weeks, I hope to see you a little bit extra. But have a fantastic week.
I'm gonna praise, I'm gonna praise. I praise the mountain moving, body raising, breaker of chains. Gonna praise, I'm gonna praise. I praise the heaven seated, undefeated, highest of names. That's who I praise. Hey, that's who I praise. That's who I praise. I wanna gift like Mary. I wanna break my vase. I wanna sleep like Daniel, even in a lion's cave. I'm gonna get that promise, just like Jericho. Yeah, I know what'll make it fall. I'm gonna praise, I'm gonna praise. I praise the mountain moving, body raising, breaker of chains. Gonna praise, I'm gonna praise. I praise the heaven seated, undefeated, highest of names. That's who I praise. Hey, I praise that God has proven He can do impossible things. That's who I praise. Hey, that's who I praise. That's who I praise. He is the Lion of Judah. He is the Lamb that was slain. The only one who's worthy, worthy, worthy of all of His names. That's who I praise. He is the risen Messiah. He is the Ancient of Days. The only one who's worthy, worthy, worthy of all of His names. That's who I praise. So I'm gonna praise. I praise the mountain moving, body raising, breaker of chains. Gonna praise, I'm gonna praise. I praise the heaven seated, undefeated, highest of names. That's who I praise. Hey, I praise that God has proven He can do impossible things. That's who I praise. Hey, that's who I praise. That's who I praise. I wanna love like Jesus, that kind of grace. I wanna live like I've got no more precious time to waste. I'm gonna give Him glory with all my things, 'cause there's no greater, stronger, higher name, and that's who I praise.